The other component of Module 1 for the architecture concepts and design requirements, the trusted cloud services. This module or component is very interesting because we have some identity trusted cloud services. We have some standards which we have to make sure that they are implemented in the cloud service provider. Let me give you a practical example. How can you make sure that your cloud service provider is providing the best service and best security based on the best practice? This it will not be easy. Usually, if you have a data center, on-prem data center, and you have managed services, and you are outsourcing a service from a vendor, then you can have a service level agreement and you can say that I want to have an agreement with the cloud service provider, then, I mean with the service provider, then to make an audit for his network. You will make an agreement with him that you can choose random time, you can go to their network, you can make an audit, you have to make sure that we are storing the data properly, it's encrypted, the data, if it's moved over the internet, it's also encrypted by using TLS, if it's stored on the hard disks, then it's using IPsec, we have proper access controls and so on. This it can be done, okay, if you are an enterprise organization and there is a company which it will provide you a service and we don't want to lose money and they want to consider you as a reference, then they will allow you to make the audit for their network. But if you are speaking about cloud service providers, the situation will be totally different. Because if you will say, okay, Mr. Cloud Service Provider, I want you to make an agreement with me that I have to come to your site to make encryption, auditing your network. He will say, of course not, this is not allowed. Because if he allow you to make an audit to my network infrastructure, this means that you will be able to print a blueprint for my network and understand my infrastructure, and this is considered a risk and it will be considered as possibility for hacking my network. If you will be able to know that I have multiple security zones and I have some firewalls between these zones, and this firewall, it may be ASA, it may be FortiGate, it may be whatever type of the firewalls, then this means that you will be able to hack this network and utilize this information as in penetration testing or penetration attack. Then how we can make sure that this user or this cloud service provider is providing the best security practices as per the best practices. This it will be a real problem. And we need to confirm that this information are secure to make sure that our data is protected. What you have to do here, you will not be allowed to make an audit, but what's going on? You have to request the cloud service provider to get a third party to make this audit. And this third party, it should be a trusted site and it should be there's no conflict of interest between both of them. For example, I have Microsoft Azure Cloud. Don't say that we have our consultant Microsoft, they are doing the audit. Of course, this it will not be accepted. But if we are having this from a different entity, which is, there is no conflict of interest between Microsoft and this entity, then their word, it will be accepted. They have to follow some specific standards all over the world, which as ISO 27001. This for protecting and certified your ISMS, Information System Management Services, that it is built based on the best practices recommended by the ISO organization or by NIST SP 800-53. And NIST, these are the laws or standards which are applied in the United States. ISO, it's international and it's applied in all over the world. NIST, it's applied for in America, USA, but we are used in other different countries because we are free. We are free. Then if you want to download a NIST standard, it's free. You can download it and you can follow the standard as is and you can implement it. Of course, it will not be easy because NIST it's built for federal entities. And if you want to have the same concept for your organization as a private business, it will not be easy. But again, this it will be considered a good reference, which it can be utilized to ensure that the cloud service provider is implementing the security as required. Also, we have some other standards as BCI DSS, which is used for the using the credit cards for marketing and purchasing, online purchasing. This is standard. It has some controls. If these controls are not implemented, then the credit cards companies, it will not allow you to utilize their services in online purchasing. You have the SOC 1, SOC 2, SOC 3. We are type of reports which it shows that the cloud service provider he has an outstanding network and outstanding protection security. Also the common criteria which it will be used to evaluate the TCP or the trusted computing base. And finally the FIPS, and this again another standard which is utilized to check the encryption and the feature of the encryption in the cloud service provider and the cloud products. These are the points which